What's up, and welcome to the Sisterhood Corner. To the newbies, welcome. To those who've been here before, welcome back. Another day, another letter. I'm going to read 3 letters today. So the first one reads, My niece, my enemy. Hi, Sisterhood Corner. I would like to remain anonymous. I've been married to my college sweetheart for the past 6 years. After dating for 3 years, that means I've been with him for 9 years in total. We have been blessed with a great life as we both managed to kick off our careers immediately after graduation. Thus, we are both doing exceptionally well in our respective careers. And because we chose to have kids much later in our lives, we are really enjoying married life, traveling, eating out, date nights, etc., you name it. We do it all. Marriage has really been blissful. In fact, if I could write a book, it would be more than 1,000 pages, especially the part about how lucky I have been to find a husband like mine. Sadly, as beautiful as my love story is, we have come across a challenge. My sister recently sat me down and told me that her daughter, that will be my niece, mentioned that my husband had made a pass at her. On inquiring further, my sister stated that my niece had told her that my husband had held her inappropriately. I take it when she says held her inappropriately, maybe inappropriate touching. That's just how it registered in my head. I don't know how it's going to register with everybody else listening. Now, my hubby, she goes on to say, now my hubby is generally a friendly guy and expresses love through hugs. He does that with family members and friends. And to be honest, I have never seen anything wrong with it, because at no point have I ever observed the hugs to be inappropriate. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I'm protecting my man, right? Let me give you a big background. Let me give you a brief background about my niece. Though I have shown her nothing but love, she has always resented me for my success, lifestyle, and general blessings. How I know is that the things she has said behind my back have always made their way to me. Back in the day, she made it clear to a relative that she wanted to get close to a lady who was an enemy of mine. She also went on to an ex-boyfriend of mine and requested that they take a photo together. See, round about that time, she and I were estranged, so the photo would have been uploaded on one of the apps to prove a point. I think she knew exactly what she was doing with the photo thing, if anything, because me seeing that photo would have given me the assumption that she's sleeping with my ex, thus hurting me. When I bought a car, she suddenly was going to buy one as well. When I bought my land, she also claimed to have been offered one too. When I changed my hair, she claimed she was going to do the same. The list goes on, but I think you get the picture. In short, the niece I have has always been envious of me, and given the opportunity, she would have my life. So now, fast forward to this incident. Who do I believe? My husband has never given me a reason to doubt him in any way. In fact, he has made good on all his promises and remains one of the most humble, loving, decent humans I've ever known. Though she is family, God knows, I have nothing but love for her. My niece does not wish me well. Jealousy and envy is what I've observed, and I've had to confirm it through the things she said behind my back. However, the question stands, what do I do in light of this information? Phew, that's a heavy one. Now, before I get into the letter, This is a rule I believe people should start living by, but I'll get into your letter. But let me just say this, you know, before I get back to the letter, digress back to the letter. I've always been against a lack of boundaries when it comes to the men we bring to our families. I'm against that. Not I've always been. I think that it's something I learned along the line as I grew older about the importance of your man not being too familiar with your family. And that is not from an insecure point of view. It's just that you try, by so doing, you're trying to avoid such things happening. Because remember, family, in terms of family, we are all bound by blood, but you don't know who really wishes you well and who doesn't. Sometimes you have an idea, but whatever you do when it comes to your own partner, it's your job to shield them from your family, just like it's his job to shield you from his family. So my thing is, if there's anything at the end of the day that we can take away from such scenarios before I delve into your concern, can we please normalize setting boundaries? There must be a mutual respect and boundaries when it comes to the partners we bring home, with our families. Because when they get too familiar, in the end, you'll find yourself in a situation whereby they even think they know your man better than you do. And that's where problems start. Your man must be somebody that they respect, period. There's no need to hang out, give each other hugs, act like now we are all kumbaya. There's no need for all of that. So I think that's the one thing I just want to get out of the way. I don't know what it's going to do for you before I delve into this, but just for everybody else, let's normalize that. Now, your letter, according to your letter, you have a pretty good marriage, right? Now, let's put the marriage aside, right? Let's talk about this niece of yours. Marriage or no marriage, I don't know why you still have this person in your life, because this is somebody you should have kept at bay. She shouldn't even have had the opportunity to be around your husband. Somebody like this to begin with shouldn't even have gotten the opportunity to be that close to your life, let alone your husband. Because you talk about how previously all these things, which obviously do signal envy, she wants your life, she's always wanted your life. You sound like somebody who's always had the greatest of blessings. So I can see how some people who've gone through things in their own lives and life doesn't pan out the way they'd hoped could be envious. What you described at the beginning of your letter sounds, the closest thing to a fairy tale, where life is concerned. But other than that, you're also doing well for yourself. Clearly, you guys are doing well. You have a beautiful life. And, for somebody looking from outside in who's already envious, I can see how that could trigger them in a lot of ways. But now, why is your niece still in your life? With that having been said, why is your niece still in your life? This is somebody who clearly has displayed the part where you should have cut her off. I can see all of that when she's trying to conspire with your enemies, trying to be close to your enemies. I can see all of that, oh, I bought this. Oh, I also have this. I bought this. Oh, I also have this. You know what I mean? I can see all of that. But the part where she wanted to take a photo with your ex-boyfriend and you guys were estranged, she knew exactly how she wanted to hurt you. Now, that person, the fact that she wanted to hurt you that much, that alone should have been grounds for termination of your relationship. And it's simple. You could have just set your sister down. This is what your child has done. You and I are still siblings, but this is what your child has done. And on that basis, I really don't need your child around me. And if your sister feels like, oh, she needs to stand with their kid, because that's possible, cut ties with all of them if it gets to that. But my thing is, why is this girl still in your life? She shouldn't have been in your life, because the first time she missed with the ex-boyfriend little shenanigans. In this case, it could be she really wanted to make sure, because now she's not just shaking up a relationship with a boyfriend, she is shaking up a marriage, right? So my thing is, putting the marriage aside, why is she still in your life? Now let's get back to the marriage. Your husband has never done anything to prove you, to make you suspect anything funny. You've had a healthy relationship, right? Now it's going to be up to you how you want to do this. You're either going to have to, I don't know what kind of relationship you have in terms of intimately, so in terms of whether your husband knows your family dynamics. I'm advising from the point of, somebody who generally wouldn't give out a lot of family dynamics to the man I'm with. I just feel like that information I don't want to overdo when it comes to a man. But then again, that's just me, right? I don't know how close you and your husband are. perhaps you do share such things. If that is the case, you might have to tell him what has gone down, what you've been told. That way, when you try and explain to him the importance of boundaries going forward, it just doesn't come out of nowhere. Because obviously, if you just come out and say, I want you to stop doing A, B, C, and D, da, 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 he might not understand. That is it, if you want to go that route, right? So you might have to break down the dynamics so he understands, and then he will need to start pulling back and hold on the hugs. Okay, he might need to cut down on being captain hugs. Okay, however, if it's one of those that you want to deal precisely with just your family and get them out of the way, and then if your husband asks, then you will see how you want to handle it without dragging him into the thing, then it's up to you. But I would say tell him, so that at any point if he bumps into that niece at the mall, right, he knows how to behave, because he might not know and continue being the usual touchy-feely. She might take a photo too and say, look, your husband is still doing this. You know, people like these, I know it sounds very obsessive thriller movie-ish, but things happen. People like these love to also record things and misconstrue things. When somebody is after your life, I tell you, nothing is impossible. It sounds so crazy as I'm saying it, but nothing is impossible. So first things first, this niece shouldn't have been in your life. How you proceed going forward, and look at it from this point of view. Whatever decision you make about your niece, it's not about this man. You need to sit down, think about everything and make a holistic decision. Meaning that, fast forward, if for whatever reason your marriage doesn't work out, you don't find yourself still feeling like, oh, maybe I made a mistake, maybe my niece was right. No. The decision is not based on this one incident. The decision is based on the kind of person she's been for the longest time. You are making it for you. So whatever happens with the marriage later on, whether it survives the test of time and you grow old with your man, which I hope is the case, because it does, from what you've said, it sounds beautiful. What you have sounds beautiful. If whatever happens, it shouldn't be you now sitting and thinking, oh, my poor niece, and then you start crawling back to her. Remember all the bad things. Kind people, because you sound like a kind person. Kind people, the one mistake a lot of kind people make is that when people show you who they are, you still want to make excuses for them. Believe them. Now, I'm not saying completely cut her off in the sense of, you're just snotty and rude to her. No, there are ways to cut somebody off, but still be cordial. Because remember, you're still going to meet at funerals, family gatherings, and all that nonsense. So you still got to be cordial. That's all you can do. But she cannot have access to your home. She cannot have access to your life. And I promise you now, even the mom as well, be very selective with what you tell your sister as your sibling, because clearly they are that close. You just never know. They are mother and daughter at the end of the day. So you can't trust the one and not the other. They are a combo. So I don't know how you want to proceed based on everything that I've outlined. It boils down to you. You will make the decision. And if your man indeed did do this, time will tell. But I don't think the marriage should end now. I think what should end is what should have ended a long time ago, and that's the relationship you have with your niece. That part should have died a long time ago. But anyway, I just highlight what I think. Hopefully everybody else will listen and give you, their perspective. And thank you so much for reaching out through TikTok. I got this letter through TikTok, people. So good luck, Anonymous.